Welcome back to another episode of Let's Have a Sip. I'm your host, Sean Drinks. The champ is here. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just chilling. It's the weekend, just hanging out. Dropped my fiance off. I have a fiance now, so she was
Congratulations.
appreciate it. She was like, "Have you had a podcast since we got engaged?" She's like, "You better talk about it." Well, this is me talking about it, Courtney. So, but yeah, so just enjoying the weekend, my man, and just chilling, doing my podcast thing. So,
Yeah, man, same. Just play a lot of video games in my spare time when I'm not either, at the gym or hanging out with family or friends. So,
what do you normally play?
I play a lot of Madden, not gonna lie. And then if not Madden, then definitely Warzone, Call of Duty.
Okay.
I'm trying to get into it. I was never really a shooting game type of person. But in college, everybody was on the Fortnite train, so I hopped on that and was never really good at that until it took me a while. Then when the new updates started hitting, I said, "Yeah, this ain't for me anymore." So I jumped on the Call of Duty train. So I play Warzone, Madden and Warzone, pretty much the only two I play.
Yeah, I feel you. I used to play Call of Duty so much whenever I was in college, and whenever I graduated and stuff like that, I would play it a little bit more. But I played Rocket League for like religiously for like 7 years.
Not gonna lie, I heard Rocket League is the bomb. I tried to play it a couple times, but was never really good. But my nephews play it all the time, so I
Man,
might
that
try to hop back onto it.
that game's hard. I played it for like a good 2 years, and I was so trash, and I finally started getting good. And me and my buddies back, this was like 2015 or 2014 or something. Um, we would play it all the time, and one of my buddies was like, "Hey, let's go up to Atlanta. They got a video game convention." I was like, "I don't want to go to a video game convention," but we went up there to like watch them play and shit. And it was like we're watching 14-year-olds play right now, and they would kick our ass. So like, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, man. So you just won the USFL national championship. How does that feel?
Man, it feels great. Just first of all, just another opportunity to play football. It's something I've ever wanted to do my whole life, ever since I was 4 years old. And then to be professional again. Um, Back in 2019, I was with the Titans for a brief moment. And then 2020 was actually from the time I started playing football. So from the time I was four, I just turned 25 a couple weeks ago. Um, so from four to 25, 2020 was my only year not playing football, and it felt kind of weird. But like I said, I'm just grateful to be playing again, and it feels amazing to be a champion again.
Hell yeah! So the USFL, like this is the first year they came back since like the '80s, right?
The '80s, yeah.
Okay, because I think it was like 85, 86. I can't remember. I don't know. I wasn't born in the '80s, but I just remember that being a thing back in the '80s. And um, I, I never like heard of it until whenever the USFL started playing this year, and I was like, what is this? So like the USFL is pretty much like, I guess, the G League of the NFL, or am I wrong?
Pretty much, yeah, that in the XFL. So like you were saying, I had pretty much never heard of it either until I actually played in the spring league in 2021, and it was that was more of a showcase. So it would be like how the NBA does their combine. It's not the NFL combine, the NBA combine. You go, you work out, you show your skills. That's what that was for. That was to get players' names back out there and pretty much to get film and to stay in shape. And actually the president of that was kind of telling us about it. So we knew it was coming back, but like you said, like never really heard of it. So I did my research and found out a couple big name players actually played in it. Back in the day before they went back to the NFL. So Brian Woods, he's the president. So shout out to him for bringing it back and just giving us players, another opportunity to live our dream.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. So yeah, so you went to East Ridge High School in Chattanooga, right? Okay, so
Yes, sir.
what year did you graduate?
Graduated 2015.
Okay, so I was 2009. I went to excuse me, I went to Cleveland High School, so Bradley
Hmm.
County. Um,
Yeah.
I remember, so I played basketball in high school and college, and I remember in high school, Eastridge had these two guys that were so good. Alex Wells, I don't know if you know
Alex
Alex,
Wells.
and then you got that tall ass motherfucker,
Yep.
Philip Jerk.
Big Phil.
Yeah, so and they ended up. I don't think
So
Phil.
it's crazy. We grew up in the same neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I grew up literally playing almost every day with Alex. It was crazy.
Dude, he had some hops. Like I remember being in high school, and I think we were playing an exhibition game, and I walk in, I see this guy doing like in between the legs dunk, and I'm like he's like I don't know how tall he was at the time, but I'm like, damn, this guy can jump. And then Philip made me seem short because
Literally,
I'm 6'8". I don't know how tall he is, but I just remember looking up and I'm like, okay, well, all right, whatever. That reminds me. So me and my fiance are looking for um, wedding venues, and I got off work
mhm,
pretty early on Friday, and she was like, "Hey, meet me over here at this hotel." I was like, "All right, cool." And it's a pretty nice hotel. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I don't think I mentioned that to you, but so go in. We're talking to the wedding planner, and then the person that's kind of showing us around the hotel to show us like where the venue's at and like where we would have like the reception, all this stuff. And she's bringing us to the elevator. We're waiting on the elevator. We're just kind of shooting the shit, talking. I hear somebody walk behind me, and I'm like, okay. I look behind me. I'm like, damn. And I realized who it was. It was JaVale McGee. And I'm like, do you know who JaVale McGee is? Okay, so I
right.
you don't really like think like like they're tall like NBA players. Like I'm tall, but I turned around, I was like, yeah, this guy is huge, and I realized who it was. I was like freaking out on the inside because I've watched him since I was in like high school because I think he started in the NBA like my senior year. I'm pretty sure 2008, 2009, whatever. And I was like, well, I know what it's like now. Everyone's like, you're tall, and people were. I try not to say anything to him. I was like, I'm not going to say anything. But my fiance and everyone else was like, how tall are you?
Know how it is, yeah, man. Like I said, just growing up in the same area with them too. Phil was around here and there, but literally Alex, like, I stayed on one end, and he and his family stayed on the other end on the same road, and we would literally be out there. I couldn't tell you how many days in the summertime just hooping, and of course, like you said, he had hops, so of course he was dunking on all of us at the time. You know, back then I was small. I was in elementary school while he was in high school. So, but yeah, just he's literally a legend. Both of them are legends at East Ridge. So
Oh
I
yeah,
know
no
exactly
doubt.
what you mean.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I always knew who he was. I never talked to him like whenever I was in high school or anything like that. But so I played at Lee University, and then I remember him coming to Lee, and I was like, at first I didn't recognize him, but then I was like, Alex. He was like, yeah, what's up? And then I was like, okay, cool. So I haven't seen him since. It's been 8 years, I think. So I wasn't like on talking terms with him really, but it was more of like I think he was there for like a semester or two, and that was it. But um, yeah, cool dude, man. But yeah, so you went to East Ridge, and then and correct me if I'm wrong because I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's Wofford College, right?
Correct, Wofford. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you went to Wofford, and then you said you played for the Tennessee Titans for a year. Is that right?
Yeah. So graduated right out of college. Actually, it's funny. So I went to rookie training camp before I even graduated. So I had to leave school almost a month, probably like 3 weeks before I actually graduated. Left early to go to rookie training camp, and came back and graduated. But yeah, I was there for all of preseason and week one. Started week one, and then literally was cut before the game even came.
Damn. So wait, so you said you got cut week one. So like, what was your? I'm sure that was a fucking punch to the gut. So like, I mean, what was your thought process as far as like how to move forward with that adversity?
Pretty much my whole life is overcoming adversity, dealing with deaths and people telling me I'll never be good enough and everything else. But yeah, like you said, man, I was devastated. But it's crazy because like I hate losing more than anything. That's number one. So with me, like it don't matter if it's a preseason game, whatever. Like I cry after every loss because I'm frustrated. I'm mad as hell.
Yeah.
And but it's crazy because Nashville, Chattanooga, literally 2 hours, 2.5 tops. And when I got cut, I literally just packed my stuff and drove home, and not one no tears shed. And it was crazy to me because like you said, I was devastated. But when I got home, I remember I did not leave my room for like 2 weeks straight. I think the only time I left was either to go to the kitchen and back, or take the garbage out or something. But that was it. Like I was I was hurt, man. But the the men in me, I've never gave up on anything, and that's why I'm still here today. Still playing football.
Yeah, I feel you, man. And it's cool to because I remember Brian was like, keep an eye out on JoJo Tillery, and I was like, I don't know who this is. I'll take a look at him, and then I was like, okay. And then I realized you were from Chattanooga, and I was like, okay, cool, hometown boy. And I've just been following your journey ever since, and I was like, this is pretty cool. So just keep working, man. I mean, you got. It seems like you're a G when it comes to the field, and you're the starting free safety for the Birmingham Stallions, right? So like it was just cool to watch. I never played football, but I was always a fan, and not to shit on the Titans or anything, but I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. Just saying, I'm originally from New Orleans, so like the Saints were always my jam. But you know,
Gotcha.
hopefully they're not going to be the Aints anymore because I mean I feel like we're I don't know, we're so trash right now. I feel like we're going back to the '90s, and I'm like, this is not good, but it is what it is. I don't know. I feel like New Orleans just does not have good teams. But I mean, like whenever Chris Paul played for the Hornets back before they were the Pelicans, like I mean, we were decent, but then like I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. I feel like New Orleans is cursed.
Yeah, it's something up with New Orleans. I don't know. Hopefully, Zion can come back and do something. I'm rooting for him because where I went to school, Wofford, his high school is literally right down the road. Some of his games were so packed they literally had to play in our gym, and that's how crazy it was.
Damn.
But but yeah, man, you're a Saints fan, and it's crazy. I'm a Falcons fan, man. I grew up a big Mike Vick fan. My favorite player of all time. I actually played quarterback my whole life up until college. I mean, of course, I still played in high school, played both sides, but quarterback was my main position growing up. So I wanted to be like Mike Vick, and I actually have a signed jersey right here, hanging above my bed. So yeah, I'm a Falcons fan. So we kind of butt heads a little bit. You being a Saints fan,
Have you been to the new stadium since they built it?
I have. I've been to about 3 or 4 games.
Okay, yeah, that stadium's nice. It's a nice stadium.
It's huge. It's crazy, man. You can get lost in there literally.
Yeah, no doubt. I was thinking about this earlier because I feel like you were talking about adversity and you cried before like every game that you lost, but like in that aspect of like you getting cut, you were like you didn't shed a tear. So I feel like it's very taboo, specifically for men to talk about their feelings, and I feel like that's something that needs to be a little bit more normalized to talk about like how you're feeling because eventually, if you're going to hold stuff in, you're going to implode, and that's not good. So my whole point is like, is it like taboo or is it talked about a lot? I'm not really too sure because I don't really follow it too much, but is it taboo or is it talked about a lot? CTE, like in the USFL or in the NFL.
It's definitely more in the NFL. With the USFL just coming back, of course, always practice safety and proper tackling and stuff like that. But it wasn't really emphasized as much in this league. Now in the NFL, they have hundreds of doctors, everywhere. So of course, they talk about it. They have monitors in your helmets and all these other protective gear that tells you your heart rate and how fast you were going, how hard you hit, all this type of stuff. Um, so it's definitely like emphasized a lot in the league, just because different players, nowadays coming back from like the '80s and '90s, talking about how bad they were, and they're thinking, new players like Antonio Brown, they think something's big mental with him. Um, but yeah, like it's definitely talked about and criticized a lot actually in the league for players in the NFL, as I should say.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, because I've been wanting to watch this movie. It's with Will Smith. You know what movie I'm talking about? Specific to CTE.
I know what you're talking about. I never watched it because, a lot of people around me said they've watched it and how it made them feel. And with me, I personally feel like I'm gonna get pissed off, so I don't want to watch the shit. So I just be like, no, I'm not gonna watch it. But I might one day, but we'll see.
I got you. So is it like terrible? I haven't like heard like a negative or a positive review about it.
I
From
mean, they
from
say
what?
it's a good movie,
Okay.
like as far as football aspect. Everybody's saying, oh, you shouldn't play it no longer, or this and that, all that
Oh.
type of shit. So it's
Okay.
yeah, that type of deal. From what I've been hearing, like I said, I haven't watched it. I know what you're talking about. And I'm trying to think of the name of the movie, but I can't. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, no, I have some movies like that where I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm not gonna watch it. It's just gonna piss me off. I don't really feel like I have a short temper, but there are some things that are like that will just like push me over the edge. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep that away from me right now. So, but yeah, no, coming
Yeah,
back to
I'm the same way.
yeah, but now coming back to like you know it being taboo to like talk about your feelings and stuff like that. I feel like that's something it's not talked about enough. And I was talking to one of my boys that came down to Texas just last weekend about this. Is like um if you like it's very easy to just talk about stuff, but like you can't just you have to feel like you can confide in somebody where you're not going to be judged for what you're talking about. You feel what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just rambling right now, but yeah, man. So moving forward, what are you what are your like what's next for JoJo Tillery, man? What's going on?
So right now, I hate this part of the transition. It's the waiting game, literally. I talked to a couple teams. My agent said he's been talking to. So hopefully, I end up in somebody's training camp here in a couple weeks. If not, I'm still gonna, stay in shape and be ready for that call when it happens because I have faith it's gonna happen, especially just off the film and the stats I put up. Um, you know, I want everybody to get signed, but in reality, this is not gonna happen. So, but hopefully, I did good enough to prove like I'm still worthy to have a shot. So I know once get that shot, I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm gonna be on somebody's roster if I get that call. You mark my words. You can spot it here right now. I'm telling you right now, if I get a call for a workout or be in training camp, I will make the team. I'm saying it here right now.
Okay. All right. I like the confidence, man. I mean, hell yeah. I love that shit. So, but that's cool, man. I was while we're before you got on, I happened to look at your Instagram story and I saw you were smoking a cigar. Are you a big cigar smoker?
Man, I'm not. I have a couple times. I know a couple times when we were on a cruise, and once after my college championship, and then of course after the USFL championship. So I had a couple left over, So I just like I don't want to waste them or whatever, or give them to anybody. So I was just like, why not? Because we were out by the pool celebrating my nephew and niece's birthday. Um, so it was just hanging out, catching some sun, doing that, and of course sipping a little something, something.
Yeah, I feel it. Okay, so obviously, got a lot of whiskey behind me. So, what's? I'm a big bourbon guy. What's your drink of
Mhm.
choice? What do you normally go for?
See, college it was different. I used to drink about shit, just about anything. I was definitely
Same.
a big vodka guy back then. Now I really don't. I don't do too much brown, but if I do, I definitely I like Jack Honey and probably a little Douce here and there. But if we're talking clear, I'm definitely a tequila guy. I don't, if it's clear, I'm doing tequila. Um, Probably just a little Patron, a little Casamigos. Uh, but beers, the only beer I drink is Corona. I don't know why. That's the only one that I actually drink. But I see you got a whole stash behind you.
Yeah, this is like it's crazy. Like I've always been in suburban, but like it's ever since I moved to Texas is like whenever I started like really like buying bottles. I probably have this is probably like a tenth of what I
Mm.
have right now. I just this is like my little setup that I got going, but I probably got like 120 bottles of whiskey. So it's it's a
Woo.
lot. It's a lot. I had like I was saying, my buddies came into town this past weekend. I don't know. Does the name Keith Dodd sound familiar? Played basketball at Bradley High School. I don't know if that name sounds familiar.
That name does sound familiar. I can't put a face to it, but that name does sound familiar.
What about like Terrence Oglesby? Does that sound familiar?
I don't know about that one.
No?
Nah.
Okay. This is back in like 2007. So, but anyways, it's just a buddy of mine I played basketball with. He played at Bradley High School, but he came down and I opened up my whole cabinet and I was showing him everything and he was like, "Dude, I don't even know what to start with." And we pretty much almost I'd say we probably drank about 90% of my bottles. And I've been trying to back off a little
Woo.
bit of drinking cuz like dude, it is hot as fuck in Texas right now. It's like 105 and like the heat index is like 115. I'm like, I don't even want to go outside.
Oh
So
shit. Nah, yeah. I couldn't even imagine. Right now, I currently stay in Atlanta. And it's hot as hell here. And then not to mention That I listen. I don't know what it was. That Alabama Heat is different. Like
Is it?
I'm glad we played most of our games in the nighttime, but that Heat practicing in it was crazy. And we would try to practice in the mornings, but it would still be hot. So of course, you know, the playoff and the semifinals of the championship we played in Ohio, and it was so much cooler. I think the highest it got up there was like 78. So we
Oh,
were big chilling and grateful for that. But that Alabama Heat, whew, I'm talking about heat index probably like 105, 106 there. It was crazy.
yeah. I haven't been to Alabama in a while, but like, I can imagine it's pretty hot as fuck down there. But like, I remember being in high school, and I'd be coming out of practice. I would just kind of go screw with the guys that were like playing football, and they would still be practicing, but they would be do two a days, and I'm like, it was hot as hell outside, and I'm like, how are y'all doing this? I don't know if I'm just a pussy, but we're gonna go ahead and say that I'm a pussy, so I couldn't handle the heat. I'm like, no, I'm good, because I remember the coach like trying to come make me play, not make me play, ask me if I wanted to play football. I just never had any interest in it because I'm so tall. He's like, you can be a wide receiver. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm too goofy and lanky as fuck to go out there. So, but yeah, man, no, bourbon's my jam. I've always enjoyed bourbon. I just never had the opportunity to like really sit down and start buying bottles because like for work, I don't. You probably didn't know this, but I worked with indirectly with Brian at UPS back in Chattanooga, and I've been with the company for about 10
Okay.
years. But like, so I've been I usually would travel for work, and
Hmm.
once I met my fiance, I kind of just hunkered down in Dallas, and I don't really travel as much. So that's whenever I started kind of buying a lot of bottles, and she was like, "Well, fuck, I didn't think I was gonna have to make room for your ass with all these bottles," and I'm like, "Well, sorry, take it or leave it." So
Listen, I'm the same way. You got bottles, and well, I'm not like Brian. Of course, nobody's like Brian. But when it comes to shoes, I literally had to make my whole bathroom closet a shoe closet. It's like 30 pairs stacked from bottom to the top. Uh, but yeah, bottles. I know in college, of course, me and roommates, of course, it was the whole thing to have the graveyard. I think they called it all the bottles in the kitchen, whatever. But yeah, it was shoes and what's my other? I would say probably shoes and watches. I love watches. I think my dad got me hooked on that because he's a big watch guy. But definitely shoes.
man, whenever he came onto the show, like I thought he was at his store whenever he came on because all the shoes in the background, just the way it was set up,
He's at
that
his
blew.
house.
Yeah, I was like, damn, man. Like, I mean, I like shoes. I'm not going to consider myself a sneakerhead because I'm not, but I do appreciate shoes, especially like the type of shoes that he's, you know, bringing to the city of Chattanooga. I love all that stuff, but yeah, I was like, damn, I can't even imagine having that much shoes. But it's kind of the same thing with like bourbon. It's like I'm sure some people are like, I can't imagine having that many bottles. Everyone has their thing. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but but no, I thought that shit was cool as fuck because like I remember him walking around the center in Chattanooga at UPS, and he would always have like some sort of J's or some cool ass shoes on. And technically, you're not really supposed to wear that
Always.
stuff in
Yep.
there. You're not really supposed to be wearing that stuff in there. And I don't know. He would just kind of like doing his own thing. And then I realized he had opened up a shop, and I was like, damn, that's dope, man. That's cool. So I hope he can kind of get out of there and focus on that side of like his life because that's cool. I like what he's doing. You don't really see a lot of stores like that nowadays. I mean, because like there is one store, or no, I'll take that back. Two other stores that I've been to that are similar to that, and they're both in Texas, but I'm aware of another one
Hmm.
in California. I think it's like Flight. I can't remember what it's called. There's some famous shop that's in LA. I can't remember, but it's cool as fuck. That's pretty much all I'm saying. So
Yeah, it's not too many, especially like in Chattanooga. Him and for him starting that, and then the guys down at Quick Strike, man, it's big for the city. Just because like like you said, I really don't consider myself a sneakerhead because I feel like sneakerhead comes with a lot of knowledge of the shoes and the history or whatever. And I don't know a lot of it, but like you said, I like shoes. That's just me. I can tell you my favorite pair, and I can tell you when this and this dropped, but I can't give you all the details and stuff you need to know. But yeah, like just for him And like I said, the guys at Quick Strike just to bring that culture to the city, whether it's the vintage wear or different like the brand, it's huge, man. I know a lot of guys who used to like Brian was probably one of them, having to travel to Atlanta just to get that experience. So every weekend or every other day type shit. So it was definitely a big shout out to Brian and the guys at Quick Strike for doing that as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't think I've ever heard of Quick Strike before. You said that was in Chattanooga?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, whenever I come back, I haven't been back in like almost 2 years. I'll have to check it out whenever I come down there. But yeah, man. So hey, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here. I really appreciate you jumping on. Until next time, everybody. Peace.
Most definitely appreciate it.